NFL fans, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the J All Day NFL Show. Today, we're going to go over my Week 1 picks along with bets that I'm circling in Week 1. So there is some risk when you make bets early in the off season, right? Even before training camp, because when injuries happen, you could be left holding the bag, but you could also get in at really, really good odds, right? So sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit. We're going to go through all 16 Week 1 games, give you my thoughts on some bets that I'm circling for Week 1. Let's get into it. NFL fans, we're finally getting into the summer. OTAs are starting. I'm really excited about the 2025 NFL season. That's why you got to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We went on a killer run last year with our bets. I bet all 18 weeks in the regular season. I only made one deposit. We finished the season 80% up ROI. I don't know who's doing better than that in the YouTube space, but if you match my bets, unit for unit, all season long, all my bets, you were up 80% at the end of the season, right? So, if you have a $10,000 betting account, you were up $8,000 by following my bets in 2024. And I'm killing it with the picks too. The last 9 weeks of the year, 110 and 39 in the straight up picks. My parlays absolutely crushed it last year. So let's get into these games. I'm really excited. We're kicking it off with my Birds against the Dallas Cowboys. To be honest, guys, I'm not really super interested in betting this game. You know, there's a lot of moving parts, right? The Dallas Cowboys have a new coach. They got a young, inexperienced offensive line. Zach Martin is gone. The Philadelphia Eagles lose a lot of guys on defense. C.J. Gardner-Johnson at the safety position. Darius Slay at the cornerback spot. Milton Williams on the D-line. Josh Sweat, the edge defender. Lots of moving parts. If anything, if I had to make one bet, I'd probably use the Cowboys in a teaser. If you do like an 8 or 9 point teaser, tease it up to 14 or 15. That probably makes the most sense to me when you pair them with some other teams. But I don't love it. I mean, you could use the Eagles, you know, with the Broncos maybe in a parlay at minus 325. But I'm not clamoring to bet on this game at all whatsoever. The game's in Philly, so I don't love it from a betting perspective, but I think the Philadelphia Eagles can win this game. I don't trust the Cowboys offense early in the year with a whole new slew of coaches, new offensive coordinator, new head coach, right? A lot of moving parts for the Cowboys, right? Zach Martin is going to be missed because not only is he a great player, he's able to get all these other guys up to speed, and he just makes an offensive line so much better with all that experience, right? So I'm going with the Eagles to win this game, but betting-wise, I'm out. All right, next up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the LA Chargers. Jim Harbaugh and company. This game's in Brazil, right? So it's not in Los Angeles or in Kansas City. The line right now coming in at +3. You know, getting the Chiefs at minus 148 is never a bad bet. If you can get the Chiefs under minus 200, it's a really good spot. They played twice last year. The Chiefs won 17-10 and then 19-17 in week 14. So I do have the Chargers in a teaser, which I will show to you guys in a little bit. But I think the Chargers, you know, they only won by 7 and 2 points. So if you can get an 8-9 point teaser with pairing it with a couple other teams and get the Chargers in, you know, 10 points, 11 points, 12 points, that makes some sense to me. I think the Chargers defense has improved. I think that they did a really good job in the draft, bringing in guys like Omarion Hampton and Trey Harris, right? Really excited for this game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Betting wise, you know, the bet I like the most so far is the minus 148 for the Chiefs, but I also like the Chargers with the teaser. I'll show you guys that in a little bit. All right, speaking of teasers, this Giants-Commanders game is very, very interesting from a teaser perspective, right? The Giants and Commanders played two really, really close games last year, guys. In week 2, Washington won at home 21-18, and then in New York, Washington won again 27-22. 3 points and 5 points. So the spread is at 7, right? So the Giants would have covered that spread in both games. So if you add them to a teaser, like I said, 8-9 point teaser, you're getting the Giants in like 15, 16 points. I absolutely love that. And even at +7, they covered both of those games last year, 7 points. I love that. And this defense is extremely impressive, right? Especially the front seven with Abdul Carter. You got Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, man. I mean, come on. The Commanders did add some juice on the offensive line by trading for Laremy Tunsil, and they also got Deebo Samuel, right? So this offense is going to be a little bit better. So can the front seven of the Giants get after Jaden Daniels and kind of slow this offense down a little bit? I don't know if they could do that, but I definitely think covering a teaser at like 13, 14 points is definitely in play for me. So I'm going to show you guys the teaser that I'm working on right now. If you take a look at your screen right here. So I'm doing a sweetheart teaser, 10 points. Coming in at -130, right around even money. So say you do a $20 bet, you're going to bring back $15 if you win that bet. So Giants getting 17. The Raiders getting 13, and then the Chargers, like I said, also getting 13. I liked it a little more than the 9 points because you clear the 13 points for a push, right? So I like that. Chargers +13, Raiders +13, Giants +17. Guys, that's a great teaser. I love that bet. Now let's move on to this Bengals-Browns game. Another game that I'm circling from a parlay perspective, right? I like the Bengals in a parlay with some other teams. So right now I'm building a parlay. Go to my notes real quick, guys. I'm building, if you want to go crazy, there's a 4-team parlay that I really, really like. I like the Bengals to win in this game. I just don't think the Browns, especially early in the year, are going to put up a lot of points and be able to compete with an offense like the Bengals, right? So I love building this little parlay for you guys. We got Broncos, Bengals, Cardinals, and coming in the last spot, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, guys. I absolutely love that. Where are you at, Tampa Bay? We're going to bring in Denver. We're going to bring in Tampa Bay. So this is +348. $20 bet. Can score you a $70 win, right? $20 bet brings back $69.65, and of course you get the $20 back that you put out for the bet. That's a really, really great bet, guys. Cardinals, I love that over the Saints. Broncos, I love that over the Titans, especially at home. Tampa Bay, I don't think the Falcons and Michael Penix Jr. are ready for that Todd Bowles defense early in the year. And then the Bengals over the Browns. Seems like a score to me, guys. So, yeah, I like the Bengals there. You could put a $20 bet on the Bengals straight up. But at -230, if you can get that around closer to -200, I like that a little bit more. But I do like the Bengals in this spot to win for sure. All right, next up, Buccaneers at the Falcons. Like I said before, I just love what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are doing right now, guys. So they drafted Emeka Egbuka in round 1. This offense is looking mighty, mighty powerful, right? Bucky Irving at the running back spot. We got Mike Evans. We got Chris Godwin. And now Emeka Egbuka, wow. Like very, very impressive offensively. And of course, we got Baker Mayfield, right, guys? So I like what they did in the draft. They also brought in some great cornerbacks that I love. Ben Morrison and Jacob Parrish. Come on, guys. I love that. Going to make this defense even stingier, right? And Todd Bowles, the head coach of the Buccaneers, is really good at disguising his blitzes and kind of confusing quarterback. So Michael Penix Jr., doesn't have a ton of NFL experience. He started some games towards the end of last season, but going up against Todd Bowles in week 1 is going to be tough. And if you look at the Falcons draft, they didn't bring in any offensive players until the 7th round. So this offense didn't get a lot better, right? So I love the Buccaneers. I love them in parlays. Absolutely. Buccaneers get a W here, and I think they cover the spread. I think that's a good bet too. Tampa Bay Buccaneers by -2.5. That's a killer bet, guys. I love that. I think they win and cover the spread. The next game we're going to talk about, guys, Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jets playing in Jersey. A lot of people are on the Jets in the +2.5. I'm not. Here's why. Okay, Justin Fields is now the quarterback for the Jets. I love what the Jets did in the draft. They had a great draft. Bringing in Armand Membu on the right side to be paired with Olu Fashanu and Mason Taylor, the tight end. Great picks. But remember, the Jets, all new offense, new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. A lot of moving parts there. And Mike Tomlin knows Justin Fields. He knows how to put him in situations where he won't be successful. He obviously benched him for Russell Wilson, so there was reasons for that. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is going to get after the Jets in this spot. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game. Covering the spread, I don't love it. I wish this was more like minus 125. And, I wish this was more like minus 2. The minus 2.5. Not a game I'm super interested in betting on. I do think the Steelers win this game for the reasons that I said a little bit earlier. I do like what the Steelers did in the draft. They didn't have a lot of picks, and they also brought in DK Metcalf from the Seahawks. That's going to really help out this offense. But they shipped Pickens over to the Cowboys, so we'll see how that all works out. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game. Next up, Arizona Cardinals, New Orleans Saints. Cardinals coming in at minus 205 on DraftKings, right? They're at minus 225 on Bovada. So this is my bet. This is my bet of week 1 that we need to get in early before this line gets pushed up. Arizona Cardinals playing the Saints. The Saints are a disaster. And then the Broncos at home versus a rookie quarterback, one of the best defenses in the NFL, all day long at even money. I'm going to put a 50 burger on this right now, live for you guys. I haven't even made my deposit for the NFL season yet. I cashed out all my winnings. I'm putting a $50 bet on it right here, guys. You see it live on the J All Day NFL show. Arizona Cardinals, Denver Broncos, minus 225 and minus 360. So I can't bet on DraftKings, or I would because I live in California, right? So I'm not allowed to bet there. So I got to use Bovada. So for you guys, you're going to get even better odds. So make that bet. Do it. Win you guys yourself some cash. I love what the Arizona Cardinals did in the draft. They brought in Josh Sweat in free agency. How they got Will Johnson in the second round, I'll never know. I love what Arizona is doing. They really went crazy on defense, guys. Walter Nolan, Will Johnson, Birch from Oregon, and then Cody Simon, the linebacker from OSU. I love what they're doing there in Arizona. And honestly, I think Arizona could be a sleeper to win the West this year if the Rams can't stay healthy. But I think it's the Rams division to lose, but you never know. Older players get injured a lot. So Arizona, minus 205. I love that bet on DraftKings and pairing them up in a parlay. So I got it at minus 118, right? So you're going to get it, guys, probably at even money. Here's the bet that I put down. So I got minus 118. You're going to get it right around even money. Make that bet, run, slam dunk it. Arizona Cardinals dominate. Raiders and the Patriots. This game's going to be a lot of fun to watch, guys. And I love the Raiders and teasers. I don't think the Patriots blow out a lot of teams, man. So if you could tease them up 7 to 10 points, get between 10 and 13.5 points with the Raiders, I love that shit, guys. All freaking day. I love it. I love it. I love that teaser. Giants getting 17. Raiders getting 13. Chargers getting 13 at minus 130. Woo! Let's get some cash going and flowing. I like the Raiders in this spot. I like the Raiders at plus 3.5 too. Give me that all day. The Patriots did really well revamping the defense this offseason, right? They drafted Will Campbell, Trevion Henderson, Kyle Williams, and then they also added Milton Williams, Mac Hollins. So, but at the end of the day, they still have one of the worst wide receiver rooms in the NFL. Max Crosby and company, they're getting healthier, right? And then I love what the Raiders did in the draft, bringing in Ashton Genty, Jack Betch, Darian Porter, and then they went some offensive linemen, Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant, right? So I like the Raiders in this spot. Revamping the O-line. Ashton Genty, yo. But new coaches on both sides. Don't go crazy betting this game. But I like the Raiders at plus 3.5 and then with teasers. I love it. And the under, I don't hate that. I think these teams are going to want to establish the run, chew up that clock. If we can get this up to 45 and do that under, woo, I love it. I love it. Panthers, Jaguars, I have no interest in betting this game at all whatsoever. I don't love it. I think the Panthers are going to win this game. I just don't believe in Trevor Lawrence, man. And Bryce Young is such a good kid. I like what they're doing, bringing in Tedero and McMillan. The Jaguars bringing in Travis Hunter, giving up all that capital to get him. Very interesting move. But they did lose Evan Ingram. And man, that was such a safety valve for Trevor Lawrence the last couple of seasons, right? So I think they're going to miss him a lot. I don't really believe in the Jaguars' running game at all either. The Panthers' offensive line was sneakily one of the better units in the NFL last year, right? Adding Tet McMillan to guys like Adam Thielen. I like it. I like it. I think they could cover the spread too, plus 3.5. But I'm not really super interested in this game. But I'm going to go with the Panthers to win and cover the 3.5 points. All right, Dolphins at the Colts. I like the Colts in this spot. I think the Dolphins had one of the worst drafts. Their secondary is not very good. It'll be interesting to see how this quarterback competition plays out over the offseason. The Colts with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, right? They also brought in Riley Leonard, the quarterback from Notre Dame, in the 6th round. Tyler Warren, round 1 pick, the tight end from Penn State. I absolutely love that. JT Tuimoloau, the edge from OSU. I like that. The Dolphins had no 3rd and 4th round picks. They drafted Kenneth Grant early in round 1. I think they could have traded back and still got him, And I like Walter Nolan better anyway, so I don't know. I don't love their draft. I'm going with the Colts to win. Another game I'm not super interested in betting at all whatsoever. The Colts at home, I don't hate it. I'm going with the Colts to win this game at home. Titans and the Broncos. I'm going with the Broncos to win and cover the spread. No brainer, guys. If you want an easy money bet, put a 50 burger on the Broncos at minus 360. You're only going to make like 15 or 20 bucks back or whatever. But that Broncos Arizona Cardinals, that's the freaking bet, man. Let's see what it is. Do they have it? Let's see if I can see it. Yeah, minus 111 here on DraftKings, guys. So, that's a great freaking bet. Broncos Cardinals at pretty much even money, guys. I love that bet all day, every day, man. Broncos are going to dominate. The NFL did the freaking Titans no favors on the road. Top 3 defense in the NFL. Sean Payton, yikes. Yikes. That's going to be a blowout. I think this line is going to push up over 10 points as we get closer. So, minus 7.5. I like that freaking bet too. 49ers, Seahawks. I've been going back and forth on this game. The 49ers just lost a lot of guys on defense, man. And Christian McCaffrey did look pretty healthy in OTAs. I saw some clips running and cutting very effectively. So if he's healthy, the 49ers probably win this game. But I got to see. I like Ricky Pearsall, Brandon Ayuk, The Seahawks have a new quarterback. They lost Tyler Lockett. They lost DK Metcalf. So the more I'm going over it, the 49ers might win this game, just running the ball down the Seahawks' throat, but we'll see. I have no interest in betting this game at all whatsoever. It's a division game. You guys know I don't really like betting division games if I can avoid it, especially with survivor pools and stuff like that. So I'll go with the 49ers to win, minus 120, not a bad bet. If the 49ers can get after freaking Sam Darnold, he struggles against pressure, right? Not a ton of weapons there. I'm going to go with the 49ers. I'm going to flip on my previous pick. Texans, Rams. I love the freaking Rams here. The Texans trade away Laramie Tunsil on an offensive line that struggled. They did a great job bringing in the wide receivers, Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins. Great additions, but that offensive line really scares me. And I don't think this offensive line for the Texans is good enough to establish the run against the Rams. Really good front seven, right? Texans do have a good defense, but I just think the Rams are better coached. They're just a better team right now. Devontae Adams with Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams. I like the Rams. I like the Rams straight up at minus 155. I like the minus 3 points too as well. The Rams, I really like. There's a couple teams that I'm circling on like straight up money line bets. Tampa Bay, Arizona, and the Rams, right? Rams at minus 155. I like that. Bovada is coming in at minus 150. So check your sports book, see where you can get a little bit better juice. I'm going with the Rams. I think they cover the spread and win. Lions, Packers. Lions, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn goes to the Jets. Offensive coordinator Ben Johnson goes to the Bears. You know, they lost some offensive line help in the interior offensive line, right? The Packers, I love Edge Cooper, pick from last year, great player. They brought in Matthew Golden, best separator in this draft class, runs really crisp, clean routes, man. Hopefully, this is really going to help Jordan Love. Have him get guys that can separate and get open. And I think having a guy like Matthew Golden is going to open up things in this offense, especially guys like Josh Jacobs in the running game. I'm going with the Packers to win this game. Another game I'm staying away from betting-wise. You know, this line's a little high. Both of these lines are high for week one, Ravens and Bills, especially because the Ravens and Bills went super heavy on defense. I'm going to go with the Packers to win at home. Close game. Could go either way. Ravens, Bills. I like the under in this spot. Under 51.5, right? They both went crazy heavy on defense, right? Maxwell Harrison and Landon Jackson. So, and then the Ravens bring in Mike Green, Malachi Starks. Like, I just don't understand how the Ravens keep doing this year after year, revamping that defense. Malachi Starks and Kyle Hamilton, what a safety duo. Unbelievably impressive. You know, and the Bills, like, neither of these teams drafted playmakers on offense at all in this draft. And the defense, guys, I'm sorry about the saw and all this crazy loud noise. They're like putting up a brand new gigantic apartment complex or condos or whatever the hell it is right next door. So just bear with me over the next couple of months while they're building this crap. Oh, man, I'm going with the Bills to win this game. I just trust Josh Allen a little more than I trust Lamar Jackson. And I think this Bills defense with Sean McDermott's going to be really, really, really freaking good. But, man, this is a coin flip game. I have negative interest in betting on this game. I'm just going to watch this as a fan and enjoy it. The only bet I like is the under. You know, week one, shit gets a little screwy. So the under, you know, makes some sense for me. I think the Bills win, but it's going to be close. Vikings, Bears. All right, a lot of new moving parts. They revamped the offensive line. The Bears did a freaking really great job drafting again, man. They drafted Rome Odunze last year. They bring in Luther Burden this year. I mean, come on, man. What a steal that was. But the Vikings still have one of the better rosters in the NFL. Can J.J. McCarthy be that dude? You know, what did they win? 14 games last year with Sam Darnold. I think they could win 12 to 14 games again with J.J. McCarthy if everybody stays healthy. With Addison and Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, I mean, this offense and a really good offensive line, solid defense. I'm going with the Vikings to win this game on the road. I don't trust Caleb Williams until he proves me wrong. He took 50,875 sacks last year. The offensive line should be better. They were better on paper last year, but they still sucked huge donkey balls. I'm going with the Vikings. Plus 1.5, looking pretty juicy, guys. So there it is, guys. And I'm going to read off my bets for you guys one more time just so you can see kind of what I'm doing. My teasers. I love this. At 9 points, you get minus 115 odds. Giants in 16, Raiders in 12, Chargers in 12. You juice it down a little bit to minus 130, you get 10 points. Then you get the Giants in 17, the Raiders in 13, and the Chargers in 13. If you want to go crazy on a fun parlay, 4 legs, Broncos, Bengals, Cardinals, Tampa Bay, plus 350. Woo! And then my bet of week one. If this doesn't cash, I'm going to cry myself to sleep. Broncos, Cardinals. 2 really good teams on the ascension going against 2 dumpster fires in the Titans and the Saints with Derek Carr retiring. I don't love that. I love that. Minus 118. On DraftKings, it's down to minus 111. I love that. And some straight up teams that I like. Money line. Tampa Bay at minus 140. I love that bet. Arizona at minus 225. Another bet I really, really love. And the Rams at minus 150. I think this is a really good matchup for the Rams, in my opinion. They're playing at home, right? That really good front seven led by Jared Verse. They got Devontae Adams now and Puka Nacua. I mean, I love the Texans' offense and what they did in the draft. But losing Laramie Tunsil, even though in the locker room he wasn't really jiving, but that offensive line's not very good, guys. All right, we're wrapping it up. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.